I just don't get Bob Dylan. I don't understand what's so great about him. I grew up in the 70s and he was all electric by then. And when I'd hear him, it sounded like. I didn't understand what's so great about that. Couldn't understand his lyrics at all. It was worse than Kurt Cobain in that respect. I can't understand any Nirvana lyrics, or maybe it was one or two words per line. But my father had this album, and so I gave it a listen back then. It was kind of okay. There were a couple of good songs, "Blowing in the Wind" and "Hard Rain's Gonna Fall," but for the most part, it seemed kind of lame compared to some of the bluegrass stuff that I was listening to, Bill Monroe and the Stanley Brothers. But I could give him credit for changing the chords of House of the Rising Sun. He didn't write that, but he changed the chords of it, and the Animals did a much better job with Dylan's chords on it a short time later. But he, a few years later, after this, he went electric because he said they need to grow up. I wish he'd grown up by leaning more into the folk thing and adding fiddles and banjos to his thing, and maybe a mandolin and some harmonies. But I just don't get it. Yeah, he writes some good lyrics, but I don't like his lyrics as much as I do John Lennon's or Bill Monroe's. And so, about 60 years ago, he went electric, and one of his first electric songs was "Like a Rolling Stone." And to my surprise, listening to it, I can actually understand the lyrics. But yeah, it's kind of clever. He rhymes a bunch of stuff, but other than that, it doesn't seem like that great of a song. And I found that I prefer Dylan's written songs if somebody else sings them. The Animals took his chord progressions and made House of the Rising Sun much better. I prefer the Byrds' version of Tambourine Man to his. I prefer the Rolling Stones version of Like a Rolling Stone over his. I like Jimi Hendrix version of All Along the Watchtower. But I just don't get what's so great about Bob Dylan. And Alexa agrees with me because a friend of mine's dogs had a barking fit, and Alexa said, playing Bob Dylan and other similar artists, and started playing Bob Dylan. If she'd had a pet seal, I guess it would have played Dexy's Midnight Runners. Anyway.